Yes, good morning, good morning. This is Spirit Journey, and this is Lily, my Havanese dog. I just tried to do a live stream and it got cut off. And so when I tried to redo it, then it was saying it was still live streaming even though it said off. So I don't know what happened there. So I just redid the video and I'm entitling this live stream as The Wizard of Oz, Veterans Health, and perceptions, whether false or real. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done any live streams. Yeah, my last live stream was with Lily's birthday. She turned 9 years old. Yes, I was sleeping actually. I went to bed early this night, and I woke up. It was actually 11 something. Okay, it was about 11 something, and I thought it might have been later in the evening. I thought it might have been maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, but no, it was just, it was 11 o'clock. So, but I was stayed up, and now it's like 11. I mean, one something. But yeah, but I feel so different these days. This year is really it's really expansive. Um, a lot of things happening, and like current events. The latest thing I heard about was the former President Bush. You know, the father passed away, and you know when he passed, I said they said he passed away Friday evening. I think they said 10:10 p.m. And so probably most people find out about that maybe like on Saturday. But I didn't hear anything until it was by chance that I saw a video thumbnail, and um, that's what took my attention. But either way, I don't really want to discuss him. But I just feel things are happening, and what's happening it's global. I think what's happening in on the planet it's just global. Uh, People are really stressed out. I know I am. And again, I wasn't sure really what like the past 2 weeks, more than just the past 2 weeks. I've been feeling a little different about even doing YouTube videos. Again, I started doing videos on YouTube just for my own pleasure to get stress off of me and to just share what my feelings were. Leave that alone. Come here. She wants to get on top of the bed, Lily. Come here. No, you're not going to be jumping on the bed. Then she's going to, yeah, put her on the bed and she wants to jump off because she sees me down here. Yeah. So either way, like, I feel that things are happening all over the world, and my feelings about doing YouTube. Now, I want to do YouTube because I want to do it. I I feel that I used to have more ideas. Like one time it was just rolling things that ideas what I can talk about, and I would just boom. Sometimes I would do like 4 videos in a day, sometimes even more. But sometimes it took a long time to upload. I used to be more into doing video editing and trying to make it perfect. And I think when you start to feel maybe you're not being, I boy, I don't want to come across like this. Like, you want to do something because you want to do it. And it's not about getting something in return. But I'm human. And we all want to feel appreciated out there. My videos are free, and I'm learning too. I'm learning as I go along in maybe interviewing. And again, I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm just a regular person from Queens, New York, and I I learn as I go. And I just do my videos just for keeping me busy, whatever. So I just feel I need to say that we all have feelings, even YouTubers out there, and it's I want it to be pleasurable for me, and I want those people who want to watch my videos to feel comfortable with my content. And again, this is a growing process for me too. I'm learning too. I don't have all the answers. I'm I live here like everybody else, and we all are affected by things. So that's how I want to really start it. But again, with my video, the title, I want to talk about the Wizard of Oz. Now, I was watching videos. It's like after a while when you see like the genre that I'm interested in those things that aren't really mainstream topics. And I'm sorry, it's not a mainstream topics, but they're things that might affect the masses, but it's not really discussed. I like those type of videos. I like those type of topics. And so one of the videos I was watching was about um, the things that are going on in the planet. I think in a nutshell, I forget the name of the video, but it's really, I think the essence of it is really about um, what's running the planet. You and the UFO um, um, issues. That whether it's a so-called secret societies out there, you have still this phenomenon. That's the term, phenomenon, UFO phenomenon. Is it real or is it fake? I think some of it is real and some of it is contrived. So you have two things at play, and then the viewer has to decipher how they're going to receive this information. How are you going to respond? How are you going to let that information affect your life? And so I'm just like the rest of you guys out there who are on YouTube, who are watching, or are content creators, that we're all affected by the same thing. And we have to decide for ourselves how we're going to respond. So I wanted to talk about with again perception. What's really controlling our reality? And I started again thinking about The Wizard of Oz, that movie that came out in the 1930s. And again, many of you know the movie The Wizard of Oz, and how you had a young girl that lives in Kansas, or at least at Kansas City. She lived on a farm. Back in those days, in 1930s, 70% of the white population lived on farms, not in urban centers like we have now. The people lived on farms. They raised their own foods, but things have changed, and now people are being forced to live into cities. So how with Dorothy, when I woke up from my sleep today, and I turned on my YouTube just for noise and whatever, and I'm seeing this program about what's running the world system. It came to my mind again about the Wizard of Oz, and I think the Wizard of Oz, that movie itself was ahead of its time, like the movie The Matrix, and there were other movies out there that really is to enlighten people about what's going on in reality. And I started thinking about Dorothy. I think what happened to Dorothy, the main character in the movie, again, Dorothy again, lived on a farm, and then a tornado or something hit her town, and then something hit her on the head, and it knocks her out. Now, what was really interesting about the movie, about the story, was that I think that now no one wants to get in an accident and get knocked out, but I think symbolically that her getting knocked out was actually her awakening. Dorothy's awakening happened when she was unconscious. See that? It's a paradigm shift. So Dorothy was not awake when her eyes were open before the accident, before the storm happened. And she lived with family members. And when she gets knocked out, she has a dream. And I think the dream was really all symbolism. She Some characters that were in the dream were her relatives, and they were um, in different characters. She had an uncle that was that whether it was the uncle that was a scarecrow. Another family member was a Tin Man, and then there was a lion. These are all people that she knew, but in the dream, these people who she knew in real life in the movie were in characters, and I know that each of those characters is supposed to represent something. But beyond that, just for the character Dorothy in the movie, she was not awake when before the accident, and it caused a trauma needed to happen in Dorothy's life to open up the door, the light in to come into her for awakening, for awareness. And in this dream state, she encounters what they call the Wizard of Oz. And this wizard was like a godlike figure. And this godlike figure put fear in Dorothy and the other little characters that she met in the movie, the Tin Man, the Lion, and the Scarecrow. And then they all had this experience together. They all helped each other out. They all were different. And also, was a little dog that was there. It was a terrier, I think it was. A little small, little Yorkshire Terrier, I think it's called. And so everybody played their part in the dream. All of them were important for her awakening. But ultimately, what awakened her was herself. The answer was always inside Dorothy, but she just needed help in exposing what was in front of her all along. And so Dorothy had the key to unlock her prison, her darkness that was inside of her. And I think for a movie like this of its day was really, really creative. But I think because of the day that was in, Hollywood back then was very conservative. And so it couldn't show certain things that Hollywood could show now, you know? And so the movie wanted, for whatever reason, share certain information with the public. But it made it like playful, when you have little animal characters, the makeup, the costume makeup and everything, and in a very rural area. So it gives a sense of innocence to the viewer and a receptivity for those people who are watching this video. Again, the movie is meant to awaken the masses, but subtle. It didn't want to be it didn't want to shock the viewer. And like the movie The Matrix that came out, what was that, 19 years ago, it was a little bit more bolder, a lot more bolder, hear the Matrix, and it showed them in a pod, and what they were watching was just a computer generation thing, and but so it shows you that people have to be awakened at different times according to, I guess, the sensitivity of the people of the day. Now it seems like people need more direct stimulation just to kind of nudge them awake a little bit. So again, the Wizard of Oz, I think it has a lot of layers to the movie. And but I think ultimately the main thing is that Dorothy was asleep. And we all are like Dorothy. We I think the character Dorothy was a 13-year-old girl, okay? And so when you see a child, again, innocence. And Dorothy is the character Dorothy is really addressing our innocence, our innocence about life and what's controlling life. And in this dream state, that was a fake world, but it was actually the real world. And the real world is that your life, the life that you live, is being controlled by a wannabe god. This Wizard of Oz could have easily just said, "Oh, Dorothy, okay, you want to get back home. I'm so sorry that you're not feeling, you didn't feel well, you got hit in the head. I'll help you go back home. It's right on your feet. You just wish yourself back at home. You click your heels and you go back home." But he doesn't do that because this god, Oz, is a selfish god, manipulative, and has a craving for worship because he does not have power, real power. And again, this Oz has a machine. And this machine does all these different um, things. It can make these funny sounds and make smoke come out of it, and I think even thunder, and all these monstrous effects that if you don't know what it is, it'll frighten you to death. And it frightened Dorothy and all the little animal characters that were with her. And it went along with, the Oz told that, kind of like banished them, that said they have to do this and that, and I think bring something back to him. I forget the real details, but if he was what we call in black vernacular was being jive, okay? This Oz was a jive character and tried to make himself appear bulkier, bigger, more powerful than he was. So Dorothy, even though has the answers within her to awaken her, and this powerless wannabe god wants to feel big and does this thing to a girl, a teenage girl. And this Oz was like some older man, like in his 60s or 70s of age. So here he had age over her, and usually with age comes knowledge and wisdom, and he's lacking it. He's an insecure God, but wants you to think that he is all powerful, and has Dorothy go on a goose chase just for his own ego. And so I think that's what's going on in this planet now, that we have these false gods, these false religions. Now, if it's a creator's not going to tell a little 13-year-old girl like a Dorothy to go on a goose chase, and you got the thing right in your hand, or in this case, right in her feet. to get her out of that reality, that dungeon, and bring her back to her family. But no, this Oz doesn't want us to go to our families. This Oz wants to keep us imprisoned and enslaved. And this is what I'm feeling these days, that I feel like I'm in a prison, in captivity. And we can have like fancy homes, fancy clothing, go on vacations. And these things are to distract us actually. You know, because you work all day. And then you go on what they call vacation. And then in this vacation phase, you're supposed to go, you know, you're supposed to buy stuff. You notice when you go on vacation, you have to buy a whole new set of clothes, even new sneakers and stuff. And you have clothes already at home, but you have to get brand new clothes. And then you have to go on these excursions and and then you're supposed to feel fulfilled. But you come back poorer, right? See, this is part of the illusion that they want you to do. It's like everything is about what to what to do to society to keep society keep on turning the gerbil wheel, the generator. Think of the gerbil wheel, you know, the little it turns around and around. Think of the gerbil wheel as a wheel to make energy, to make um, food for somebody else. Like a windmill. What's a windmill? It's something that is to generate power for something else, to do something. They want people, the system that's controlling this wants us to do a task at hand, the gerbil wheel, to generate energy, but the energy is an energy for something else. It's a slave labor what we receive, and all the power, the bulk of the power that we do, labor that we do, goes into this and feeds somebody else. And then it's what's called money. And money in America and in Europe is not real money, but we fight for it. We fight. And it grows on trees. You can manufacture money. If you private citizen tries to manufacture money, it's called what do you call it? I forget the term. Counterfeit, and you could get thrown in jail for a long time. It grows on trees. You can mass produce money, but yet we do these things called work, and you get paid this money. And now they're going to be phasing out money, and everything's going to be electronic. So it's connecting people with electronics and a paperless society. And I remember I had a relative that uh, gave a book to our family on the moneyless society. This was maybe over 40 years ago. And look at it, it's coming to fruition now. Yeah, they know now. We need the paper money, because we like to see. We're very visual. I know I am. We have to see it to believe it. We have to see that, well, I'm working all these hours, and let me get this piece of paper, and then I can do things with it. It wasn't always money, paper money. And people lived. People had farms. People lived in communities. It wasn't like this. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at my society. This, I'm in the United States right now, on the East Coast, and this is considered one of the wealthiest countries in the world. But yet you have all this poverty, all so much poverty. And I ask myself, why is it so much poverty in this country. And in particular, a lot of black people, a lot of black men are on the street. And I'm seeing even more and more crazy. I saw what one would consider a crazy black woman in the supermarket just saying things out of the top of her head and insulting people, saying you stink and this and that. Just really, I see that stress. It's stress. And it's always like the same type of group that, for whatever reason, in the United States, that the black population is the real targeted group for abuse. But then when mainstream wants help, they always come to black people, I notice, for help. So it's like they want two things. They want us to help them, whether like politics, like like with Trump, they try to throw the race card. And so they come to black people, say, "Hey, black people, isn't this so and so a bigot and this and that? Oh, let's come, let's riot and let's boycott or whatever." And it just seemed to use us to be the poster child for racism, you know, and I feel that we're being used unfairly, because you can't have it both ways. You can't say we want you black people when there's a possible racism going on, but yeah, we're going to be bigoted against you after the crisis is over. Yes, hello, viewer. Yes, hello. Yes, welcome. And you can type hello and let me know who it is so I can give you a more formal hello if you want. Yes. So I'm just talking about again the what I was just discussing, the Wizard of Oz and all this reality, this false reality that we're living in. Yeah, it's affecting me. This falsehood of reality, and it's affecting me. I feel funny. I feel like I'm going through it's like a new awareness, a phase. Maybe it's a midlife crisis. I mean, but I think it's global. I think, you look around, and you see everyone's being affected. And they, I think the system just wants us to get upset with one another. Um, yeah, the our health is being hampered with the GMOs, and freedom, different freedoms of speech at times. And when earlier this year, it was in May, and I did discuss this before. Um, I might be going off track a little bit. I know in my title I talk about the Wizard of Oz, perception. I guess with this part of what I want to talk about, you want to talk about perceptions also, because I could be wrong. Because I said perceptions, whether false or real. Okay. Now, um, I had an event that happened to me, and a family member. And I think because of that experience, I think maybe in part that I wanted to be the case so then I could, it's like a diagnosis. Like you go to a doctor and you know something's wrong, something is going on in your body, but you don't know what it is. But you want any, you'll accept any diagnosis. You just want something. So again, what happened to me in May, um, again, it's something that I experience, me and the other person, but the reason behind it, that's up to interpretation. And that's what I'm referring to as perception. What what something is, or the cause of something, an event happens, what's causing it. And what happened to me, um, we're just about finishing our lunch. We were there at that restaurant. I've never been to that restaurant. It's a chain restaurant, but I've never been to that physical location before that was in, oh, was with um, the theater district in New York City. And it's really weird. When it happened, when it happened, I did do a video on it. And I have since watched the video that I did right after I got home. But I was still very kind of nervous to really share what happened. But I'll share a little bit more now. Well, what happened, I um I finished eating, but I was drinking my water, and we were talking about, super. We were talking about what they call the super soldier program and the secret space program, and how I noticed my hearing about this topic that a lot of the people tend to have O negative blood. And I don't have O negative blood, but I was just talking. It was just one on one conversation with the person in the restaurant, and it was just two other couples in the restaurant where we were. It was virtually empty. And I'm just, just enjoying myself, the conversation, whatever. And that was the last thing I was talking about, O negative blood, and that I knew someone who had the O negative, and that was it. I didn't, I, it wasn't anything negative. It was just like FYI. And then the phenomena happens. All of a sudden, I get like in a stupor in my body. I think I kind of like dropped in my seat a little bit, hunched over, my head down, and then I think I went to the side a little bit, the head, and I felt this like a sorrow, something like my whole um, being, like low energy, something, a very low energy state, and a feeling of guilt. And then I heard something in my mind. It was a very soft voice in my mind that said, I'm sick of tired hearing you talk about, and it's something I couldn't hear anymore. Um, and then I think I might have sat up, and then the center of my chest started racing real fast. I told the person that I was talking to, I said, wow, I said, I don't know what's wrong. Um, my heart is racing. I mean, boom, 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 really fast, rapid. And the person said, okay, just sit back and relax. So I sat back. I started taking very deep breaths. And then I gave a word of prayer. I said, something like a word of protection, that whatever was happening to me or something, I gave a word of protection in a nutshell. And then it gradually faded. And then we left. I didn't tell anyone in the restaurant. And it was cool outside. And the cool air, I thought, would like help me. We walked home. We walked back to my place. But I still felt funny in my body though. This never happened to me before. Never happened to me. And I said, I'm going to go to the hospital. Because I was thinking maybe something was in the food or the water, because I was drinking the water when it actually happened. And in short, with the medical results, I did have rapid heartbeat. I had tachycardia. That's a irregular heartbeat, and it was fast. That was documented, and I was more calmer by that time, because it took maybe an hour from the time I left the restaurant and then until I got to the ER room. So it was still irregular. So just imagine at the time, if when it first occurs, if I had my heart examined, monitored, what it would be. It would be off the charts. Um, I know what happened. I mean, that happened. Something tapped into what I was discussing. And again, it's wasn't anything super secret. Nothing. It was just a topic. O negative blood. But why was my conversation interrupted? This happened to me, and it makes you to feel like, wow, our thoughts are not are being invaded, our conversations are being eavesdropped. Why does someone even care what I talk about? And why at that restaurant? What was going again is the my getting to that restaurant was just by chance. I wasn't planning on going there. I've never eaten there, and it was just at random because we were walking around in the city, and then we were hungry and we were looking for a place, and boom, we went there. So that phenomena happened at the restaurant, and get to the ER. Um, I had I think they took blood, but they urine. Yeah, it could have been blood and urine, um, and everything came out negative. You know, I had gotten the test results, and they all came out negative. But when I got home, I did a quick video, live stream, and then I did a playback, as I mentioned before in an earlier video. But when I was playing it back, my ears felt funny. It was sensitive, like the sound funny, and it was super sensitive. The sound, everything seemed louder and slightly distorted. And then in the morning, it was worse. I thought maybe just take a bath or something, and it got worse and worse. My ears. It was unbelievable, the pain. So I went back to the same ER, and they said nothing's wrong with the ears. You know, they couldn't see anything. And uh, the lady I saw, oh, you got a little earwax. But I have all this pain, and I clean my ears every day. And I don't use headsets or anything to get it dirty. Okay. And then they said, you know, you should make an appointment with eye, ears, and nose, throat doctor. So I went up to that floor to make an appointment. And I said, look, you know, I'm really in pain right now. If someone could just look at it, just, hey, you know, find out what's going on. And it was other conversation I was having. But it just so happened that it was a nurse that works in that department was standing right next to me, and we all like chatting. I didn't know she even worked there, but we just chatting. You know, it was a group, three of us were just chatting, and then I said about my ears because it was going to take a while for me to get the appointment with the doctor. So they say, hey, you know, I'll check your ears. I'm one of the nurses here. Yeah, I give a quick look. Sure, there's no problem. It was a nice black lady. See, when they're good black people, they're good black people out there. And I'm glad that she helped me out. She goes, gives a look, and she was very wise. She looked at my ears. She says, "You don't have wax in your ear. That why would that lady tell you you got wax in your ear?" She says, "Your ears are so clean that you can see the other side of the drum. It's so clean, your ears. Just look up." And then she stopped. And she says, "Look, just you make the you'll have your appointment made for the doctor, whatever, they do tests, whatever, but right now, this, I don't see anything. It's not wax." So I appreciate that lady telling me that. See, um, that's also at the VA office, and I feel uncomfortable going to the VA office, the VA hospital I meant to say, like a lot of vets, because we know that there's things that go on that shouldn't go on, that they're not really on the level with you. They don't want you to know what's going on in your body. I notice medicine today wants to keep your body a mystery to you, but they want to know everything about your body, but you're not allowed to know what's going on in your body. And that's what I find with the VA hospital and medicine in general in this country. So again, I went to try to get help. And then also, when I woke up the next morning uh, from that incident with the earache, severe earache, and then I also had diarrhea too, severe diarrhea. I didn't have any cramping. There was no cramping, but diarrhea. So I thought, okay, maybe it's something with the food. So I give a stool sample, and everything came out negative. The stool sample came out negative. Um, the ears, nothing really wrong, but something happened. All these symptoms happened all around the same time. It manifested that morning when I woke up. Now, what happened? I don't think it was my imagination. Again, that's where the Wizard of Oz comes in. That some you have things and people who do things upon other people for whatever reason. And you look around. I mean, I'm a very healthy person. I'm from a very healthy family. We're a healthy people. But are people, why are black people and even white people now are being affected? You know, it's becoming more and more apparent that it's not just black and white people. It's everyone. It's everywhere. But I think initially blacks are targeted. But I'm seeing through when I watch YouTube videos about how a lot of people being affected by experimentation. Children, white children in particular, I see, and I could imagine black kids also. And it's like, why is this happening? They have what they call these programs, and a lot of Nazis. I watched this one YouTube video, like the Montauk, and Montauk is in Long Island, New York, and these grisly experiments that were done by, again, former Nazis that were allowed in the country. Why would the U.S., who fought against the Germans, then want to harbor them? See, that's why I'm thinking that this whole thing about World War II, that it was a cover story. Yes, millions of people died, and many brutalities were done. But I'm saying outside of all that. See, that's what they want you to focus on. But what was behind all that? And it's about these true secrets of what's ruling this planet. You have evil people in high places. And I don't know why they need to even go through all that extreme, especially with the torturing of children. I mean, I love children. I love children and I love animals. And I don't care what your race is either. Black, white, yellow, red. I don't, I really don't care because, see, not like, at one point I did care to some level because I was fooled about thinking only one race is the problem, what was causing problem in the world. And no, through my watching different videos and different experiences, it's teaching me that it's not a one person thing, that the system uses different races to do different schemes. You have evil black people doing things behind the scenes against other black people. And you have white people doing evil things against other white people too. And then both of them doing things against each other, against other groups. But it's all about who they're working for. And you have people who belong to, you know, different organizations, different organizations of control, people in government, and getting Republicans and Democrats against each other. And it's not about the parties. Both of these groups socialize with each other. And it's all about these forces that are taken over. It's you really start to wonder. And I'm thinking more like, I know I'm kind of going back and forth, but you know, to keep with the veterans health and all that, um, I think everything is, you know, they don't want you to know what's going on in your body. And I'm learning more about what they call the TIs, targeted individuals. And I believe that's what happened to me, that I got targeted. Why? So you start to wonder, did was there there a bug, what do you call it, a bug, a listening device at the restaurant? Or was the listening device in me? That's the question. Or both. Why would someone care about what I talk about? Sometimes I don't even want to hear what I'm talking about. So why was I listened to? Who's listening to me? Who has the power to give you diarrhea, a severe earache? I thought it was to keep me in check, keep me in line. Why? I'm very passive. I'm a very passive person. But it made me angry, the incident at the restaurant, because it was telling me to shut up, to don't talk. Why even bother even listen to me? You don't want to hear what I have to say? Take the plug or whatever and go somewhere else. It's like I'm here, and all these things that happened to me growing up, and it's like enough is enough. Enough is enough. Especially for the meek. You have people who are very meek, who just go on and like they don't want to make any waves. I never wanted to make any waves, but after what you start to get angry when you can't even speak a private conversation. It's not like I went out with a bugle horn in the middle of Times Square and talking about the secret space program or having O negative blood. Now we were discussing all these different paranormal topics for 2 hours. But why at the end, when we were just about to leave, did this thing happen to me? Okay? It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. And you start to wonder, who could you trust? Who could you trust? Now with me and my stomach, now I notice um my like when I was in the military, they had us carry heavy stuff, heavy packaging. Again, I was in the Navy, and there's 1,500 people on board, and we have to feed 1,500 people 3 times a day. Okay, so we have to carry on board the boxes, the heavy boxes of foods and other. And these boxes could weigh up to 40 and 50 pounds. And it's a lot of it. And it's a chain, like we make like a chain, a human chain, and we carry the boxes from one person to another. You reach over, hand it to the person next to you, and so it's one big chain, and it fills up the storeroom. Then we fill up the storeroom with the packaging. And I that's when I started noticing the pain in my abdomen, my lower right abdomen. Now they gave me what they call light duty chit. That just means you can't carry anything over 5 pounds. Okay, and then fast forward. So during these 30 years, I had X-rays done, I had colonoscopies done, and yeah, I do have what they call fibroids on the uterus. I had, in fact, a massive, massive size, um, what do you call it, fibroid on the outside of the outside and on top to the left. And it was connected with a stalk, a thin stalk. It was removed, and I did have some relief. But that central dull pain to my lower right side, and again, I have gone to the ER room when a lump protruded out, and it was severe pain. And this was at a private hospital, and they just kind of looked at it. The nurse saw it. She runs out the room, gets the doctor, and when the doctor came in, it went down. It was going down. They did nothing for me. But why this stupor of the doctors? Now it's something you can't make up a lump. And I looked on the internet what a hernia looks like. And some of the things that I saw over the internet on YouTube, what a hernia looks like, was what happened to me. And I told them over time, that when the pain started, I had to carry heavy stuff. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, a hernia. I told the system that it gets like a lump, it gets hard, and then it goes down, and the pain. Then they want, oh, go to the GYN. It must be a GYN problem. And it's like they steer you away from the problem. So I told you guys earlier in another video that I've been seeing a chiropractor, and the chiropractor also has on the premises a licensed masseuse. The guy was fantastic. My second session with the masseuse, he finds the injury in my lower right part of the abdomen. It was about maybe an inch and a half long and maybe a quarter of an inch wide. It felt lumpy. It was very painful. It felt very inflamed. And I said, oh my God, you found the source of the pain. I said, that spot right there, and you can feel it. So after all these years, he's the only one that found the injury, whatever that thing was. That's the source of the pain that I have. And I notice when my abdomen, something like if I sleep on my right side, it seems to aggravate it, and the pain goes down my leg, and it causes my groin muscle to spasm, to really get painful, and then my back starts to hurt too on the right side. So again, nerves are connected to other nerves, and so one nerve can trigger other pains in the body. So when he found the lump, I go to my doctor, my primary care physician at the VA hospital, and listen to this. This would really piss me off. It was a woman doctor, and again, it was her tone of voice. I told her about my experience with the masseuse at the chiropractic office, and I said, I think I have a hernia. I think this is the first time I ever used the H word, hernia, and she didn't want to hear it. She said, and I told her that the masseuse was massaging the muscle in the abdomen and found that spot, and I know, and it starts to get sensitive later. It could trigger. Then she says, really nasty, really, really mean. She became mean, and she's never done this before, like this. Um, she said in a very stern and argumentative tone, well, maybe he shouldn't be touching over there. Really nasty. Now again, I'm telling her that hey, it took 30 years to find the source of the injury that I have in my lower right abdomen, and she didn't like that. I mean, evidently she didn't like that. I said, wow, it took 30 years, but I said, he found the source of the pain. That's all I said. I said, I like if you can check to see if I have a hernia. That's all I said. Just check. And then her remark about, oh, maybe he shouldn't be touching over there. So, but now it's making me think, why would a doctor be upset for a licensed practitioner to find something and then me wanting to get a licensed MD to find out definitively what the problem is? So, again, that's the real issue. Why they acting this way? I felt that it's getting too close to the truth. And I saw in my record that that rather than her saying that the pain started when years ago when I had it, in the military when I had to carry heavy stuff, she says, "Oh, some gas." Where did she get that from? I certainly didn't say it. Why in the VA hospital? Why do they put things in your records that you didn't say? That's my other concern. Why? So I'm angry at that. It makes me feel because when someone says something that you didn't say and it's to put you on another path of deception, it's steering you away from the problem. I have a problem down there and I don't really know why. I just assume, hey, I'm carrying the heavy stuff. Maybe it's a hernia. But again, I can't say I have a hernia because a doctor is supposed to be the one to tell you that. But I feel like they don't want to. They don't really want to discover. They don't want you to discover what the problem is. So she just said, "Oh, you go to the GYN. It might be a GYN issue." But she did allow me to get a CAT scan. She says, "Oh, it's probably just a GYN problem." I said, no, I don't think it's a GYN problem. Yeah, I said, yes, I know I have fibroids, but it's not this. It's not my uterus. At least the central pain that I'm having is not the uterus. It's that thing that the masseuse found, which been bothering me for 30 years. And then all the other things she said when I first announced that, hey, could I get checked out for a hernia, if I have a hernia, she says, get this, women don't get hernias. Could you believe that, folks? In case any of you didn't hear, this licensed medical doctor went to school here in the United States, told me that women don't get hernias. Isn't that absurd? You carry something heavy and the muscle wall breaks, you're going to get a hernia. Yes, it is more common for men because of their anatomy to get a hernia, but women can get hernias too. So either way, it's like they're directing it's like their common sense goes out the window. And so it makes me feel like, hey, is she just being stupid? Or she's saying this deliberate because she doesn't want me to know what's going on in my body. And that's what I think. That's what I truly believe. And so I need to get answers. The CAT scan that I had gotten about 2 weeks ago, it didn't show any hernia. And again, like the VA hospital, it's like, oh, we didn't see anything, so they don't do anything else to try to discover what it is. But she did say, hey, make an appointment with the GYN. I know it's not a GYN problem, but I could still go because it could be other problems. It could be multiple problems. but it's not the key problem. So, this is what makes some veterans and military people concerned about their health, because it's like the medical doctors, some of them are really wonderful people, but it's those certain ones, and they say stupid things, and you don't get the help that you need. So I have to try to help myself go um, outside of the VA, which I did. I made an appointment with a doctor, but it's going to take a while. I have to wait like 4 weeks, but I made the appointment, and I think that, what else? What New York has? They have what you call walk-in clinics, emergency room, like it's like a private establishment. Emergency care. You get to see a doctor right away. And they two right across the street from each other. But yeah, you could go see a doctor, real fast, and they do X-rays. I I don't know whether, I mean, I'm kind of tempted to do it, to get another X-ray outside of the VA. I'm very tempted, but it's like money. It's like I'm spending all this money for things, and that's another upset that I have. Like, see, I don't mind spending money if I think it's going to help, if it's something of quality. But I see now that I spend my money on things like um, the bed, and it's a defective bed. Now the bed came over a month ago, and it was just this weekend that I get someone from the store. I think it's almost 2 months, and someone finally from the store itself comes by to take pictures of the um, defects in the mattress. And again, this is a mattress that's over $4,600. You heard me right. It's supposed to be an organic latex, handcrafted, um, specific to order bed. They make one bed at a time, and so that's why it takes over a month. Can take over a month for your bed to come to be delivered. So, um, so here I'm spending all this money, and I get defects in the bed, and I already had someone come by a month ago to examine the mattress, and that person was to inform the store where I purchased it from. And they said, oh, well, they didn't take pictures. I said, well, I had pictures, and I gave it to the guy. And that guy put those photos for the people the examiners of the mattress. So they knew what to look for. So why do you mean you have to so what it's saying is they don't trust my photos. They said, well, it wasn't good photo. Oh, it was excellent. They were excellent photos. But what they're saying, they want to make sure you're not lying, and then maybe taking a picture of some other mattress. See that? So it shows lack of trust. But again, it's business. Okay, they're just being good business. Well, they should have come a month and a half ago, but they come now. And so it's like, what's going on today? It's like we're doing service. You're paying for a service, but you're getting poor service now in New York City. And the people that they come in, that come into your home to do the installations, a lot of them are. I don't really want to go there, but everybody deserves a break, regardless what country you come from. But I feel sometimes that when you bring in someone and you're only bringing them into the country because of you can pay them low wages, don't you think it's going to affect the quality of the product or the service you're getting? In a nutshell. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. It's not to insult. I mean, labor is labor. and I don't want to insult anybody's labor, but if you are paying good money for a service or product, it should be good. But see, that's what's happening now. We're becoming slack. We're being motivated by trying to save a penny, but you're getting shoddy work, shoddy service, shoddy food, shoddy products. So it doesn't matter how much money I spend. Um, I spend a lot of money. Like um, part of my spiritual journey, I do believe there's things out there that is beyond your imagination. And so I in my spirit journey, want to tap into a way of getting outside of the box. So I recently went to another, what do you call, oh, a, another past life regressionist. This person, it was a guy, and he was in business for over about 35 years. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. No information, no past life regression. No, I didn't have that experience. Uh, he was the most money out of all the people that I saw, and he did give me a discount. But still, even with his discount, he was the most expensive. So I'm a little angry that here I'm spending money and get no service. It didn't happen. And I'm angry that um, you're spending good money and they're taking your money and you're not getting. It's like I want to buy some ice cream and you don't get the ice cream. Oh, well, I'm sorry, you just weren't receptive, whatever. I should. I know. I feel I should get my money back. That's how I feel. That excuse me, I should get my money back or another session or something. I say, I don't know. It's the whole thing. So that's how I feel. Like things are happening, and I know it's not just happening to me. Things that happen to veterans. It's happening to all of us, black or white. You know. You know what? This just reminds me of a movie that I saw. I know I'm going all out there, different topics, but I saw um, this YouTube video. Um, this YouTuber documented about this movie that came out years ago, over 30 years ago. It's called They Live. The movie is by John Carpenter. And this movie also is like a Matrix movie of its day, as he worded it. This YouTuber that's documenting this movie. Now, I did see the movie They Live. And again, it's about perception and what's really working behind the scenes. Just like what I mentioned earlier in this video about The Wizard of Oz. And like the movie They Live by John Carpenter, he also wants to alert people that what you see is not necessarily reality. And that there's something going on behind the scenes, like the Wizard of Oz, that man. And in life now, you have people walking around amongst you who aren't really who they appear to be. And they work in all stratospheres, all areas of life. And I have a feeling all countries, even in Africa, not just Europe. And they control the system. They look like you, talk like you. But you start to, but when something is not you, it if you're acute to it, you can start to slowly perceive that there's something different about certain people. Well, what do you mean? Like We all have a what I call a vibrational signature. This vibrational signature um, could manifest maybe in your body language, uh, maybe how you speak, how you walk, little things, behavior. Just try to get comfortable. And you see these people, and I see these people in the VA office, just certain people, and but they control, they control the administration or the higher levels of the doctors there that do the training. And it's just something I perceive, or in certain companies. And the higher up you go, the more of them you see. It's just something about them. They certain facial features, certain looks about them. And it just like a similar, just something similar that they all have. And like the movie They Live, I think it's really tapping on to what I cannot say. I cannot say this publicly. But in the commentary of the movie They Live with this YouTuber, they said it right on the nose. They said the word, but I can't say it. I don't want to say it. But it's showing that it's not my imagination, that they do exist. And again, they kind of look like you. They kind of talk like you. But it's always the same thing. And it's like, man, how do they? I said, how does that happen? How was I thinking? I said, and then I started to think, well, maybe I just need to work harder and harder. Like when I was in school and when I was in the workforce, I thought I just need to work harder and harder in life. I have to study more. No, that's not the problem. It's not the problem that I'm stupid. They want you to think that you're stupid and that they're privileged, that they're just smarter than everybody. No. They set up the system. And they set it up for you to fail. And then you start to blame yourself. Oh, because maybe my race or because I'm a woman. No. The system is set up for only certain people to fail. And there was this person, this other YouTuber, who also hit it on the head. This other YouTuber said that when you're born, okay, we all, regardless of your race and nationality, we're all born into a system. I've said that before, but this person went further. You're either issued one or another number. You can either be a number 1 or a number 0. And I thought that was really, really profound. Yes, hello, viewer. Welcome. Yeah, so this YouTuber is talking about how when we're born in life, that we're issued a number. If you were issued the number 1, yes, hey, how you doing? Hello, Askia. Yes, hello. Yes. So when we're born in life, we're either born with the number 0 or 1. If you're issued the number 1, that you go through life with virtual ease, that you get into the right school, the right job, the right neighborhood, all this and that. But if you're issued the number 0, that all this bad stuff seems to happen to you. Maybe you get all these sicknesses in your body. Yes, hello, viewer. Welcome, welcome. You could just say hello so I can say hello back. Yes, so if you issue the number 0 in life, what happens, you may get sick all the time. You find, oh, you got ODD. Oh, you got other learning disabilities. Or okay, you get beat up by your parents. You're raped and molested growing up. All these bad things. You can't get a job. You get a job, you keep losing jobs. Don't you notice any? Don't, you viewers out there, start noticing. Do you notice in your life, are you treated like a number one or number zero? You be your judge about your life. Have you been pretty much gotten things with ease, or you get jobs easily and you keep them? You get raises and all these things. Some of us, no matter what you do, that you just don't, you only can go so far, and then boom, you get thrown back down. So what I'm getting at, that things that happen, things just don't just happen. That things are orchestrated. Yes, hello. Yes, 100%. Yes, thank you there, Ashaka. Yeah, things just don't happen in life. And I'm old school. I was raised to think that my problem was because I'm a black person or a mixed race black person living in the United States. That and all the hang-ups with it. And then you have different isms within the black community or West Indian community or Hispanic community. And we're all kind of fighting each other. They want you to fight each other. And like the movie They Live was that came out in the 1980s, 1988, by John Carpenter. That you needed special vision to see these interlopers, the people who are behind the scenes, and the main character in the movie They Live was a construction worker, and he's just traveling to this new town looking for work. It's supposed to be in California, and he found these glasses, looked like sunglasses, but when he put them on, he saw true reality. He saw it like in the advertisement. It said like uh, uh, consume, buy, reproduce. All these things to subliminal messages that were targeted to the viewer, whether you're watching a TV show, a billboard, and it was really to get into your subconscious to make you feel a certain way, to do certain things, to have certain attitudes. And that movie They Live was right on it about what I'm getting at. See, that man, John Carpenter, was ahead of his time. And he knew what the deal was. And so that movie They Live, certain people were always in top position. They always was somehow got into these positions. And then at the end of the movie, they get revealed who these people were, who these aliens were, and how they were using the human race to, they said, well, with some of the humans, they were allowed to progress in life if they align themselves with the aliens or the intruders. And so, like today, you have people who are willing to sacrifice to be accepted, but they're not really accepted. They say, well, I want some benefit. So they're willing to compromise their integrity. And yes, Rodney Piper was in that. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. Thank you, viewer. Yes. And he passed away. And they said he wrote a commentary, I think it was a tweet. And he said that movie, They Live, was a documentary. And he's now dead now. So No, that though these movies in Hollywood is really to let you know what's going on. And I was very young and naive growing up. I don't know anyone who was more naive than I was. And so now as an adult, I saw that movie They Live maybe two years ago on YouTube. It's no longer on YouTube. I saw the whole version on YouTube. Now it's getting popular, that movie, and now they pulled it off. They pulled it out of the off YouTube. So any of you who sees this live stream and the movie They Live, if you can find it, or buy the movie somewhere, get see that movie. It's right on it. It's an old movie, came out in 1988, but it's very relevant for today. And so I think that's what's happening now, that you have people that kind of look like you, talk like you, act like you, and they seem to run the show. They're always in these top positions. Or let's say the movie, another the same YouTuber also did a documentary, or a commentary on the movie with Jim Carrey called The Truman Show. Now I think I have that CD. Now the Truman Show is also about reality, and I think Jim Carrey knows what the deal is. And that's why he acts kind of weird. They show Jim Carrey. I think that's his name, Jim Carrey. They show him kind of like bizarre. I think he's in shock. He's full of sarcasm. He knows what the deal is, and he's, I think, overwhelmed with what he knows, but he can't really let on. But I feel that he's enslaved to the system, that he can't get out. And they have him playing these roles, and he knows the reality of the part he's playing. And he's fed up. That's just my personal opinion. But like the movie, The Truman Show, and like the movie They Live, The Truman Show also about this reality that there's someone over us that's manipulating the whole show, your whole life, from birth to grave. That's what the Truman Show is about. Again, those who don't know what the Truman Show is, uh, it's a character in the movie that he um, he was like sort of adopted by some agency or government, and they had him videotaped from the time he was born until the end of the movie. And they followed him everywhere. Everything about his life was orchestrated. They orchestrated the community he lived in. He lived in a city that's encapsulated with a dome, and he can't leave this city. But it showed also that he had instinct too. But again, society is telling him no, no, no. Like when there's a little boy, he says, "I want to be an explorer," and then the teacher pulls down a map and says, "Well, you don't do that because everything's already explored. See, look at the map." So every time he wanted to, in his own humanity, wanted to know more about his world and society would squash him down. They didn't want him to leave the vicinity. They even gave him a wife, and the wife was in on it. The wife was a paid actress. Everybody in his circle, in his life, were all actors and actresses. Every aspect of his life, and the camera is showing in his inside his home, his private life, outside, every aspect. And I think basically that's maybe happening to us. Our lives are being observed. And I start to really think that when that incident that happened to me earlier this year in May, viewer, that when um, earlier this year I was having a private conversation with someone at a restaurant, and a phenomenon happened to me. Uh, it left me weak, like an energy came on me, and I went in a stupor for a moment, I kind of like dropped in my chair, slugged over, slipped over my chair a little bit, and then my head kind of went to the side, and then my my mind said something. It says, "I'm sick and tired hearing you talk about." I forget what it said. It was really real faint. It's like my mind was saying something, and I wondered, where did this thought come from? And then to fast forward with that incident, for those of you just coming on, that um, it caused me my heart to race rapid. It gave me severe earache. It gave me severe diarrhea. I went to the ER room. Okay, this phenomenon never happened to me before, never. And everything came out negative. But they did register that my heart was racing. What they call tachycardia, means irregular and fast heartbeat. I think what happened was that I don't know whether it was an implant or that the restaurant had a listening device, but someone heard my conversation, and it wasn't anything really important. I would just talk about O negative blood. A lot of people in these secret space program or super soldier program, oftentimes they have O negative blood. And that's all I said. So why did I get this pushback to mention that? And I was talking for a while, 2 hours, and I was just about to, we were just about to leave the restaurant. I was drinking my water, and then boom, hit me real hard, and it hit the other person too. The other person had milder symptoms, but it happened, I got the brunt of it. So, like the Truman, I believe that yes, some of us are being monitored, but by whom? And again, as I shared earlier, that yes, I am a veteran, and the pain that I've been having in my abdomen. I'm wondering why, what's really going on in my abdomen? Is it just a hernia, or is it an implant? I had gone to the GYN before, a private doctor, and I had to get a procedure done. They had to use general anesthesia on me. I was only under for maybe 15 minutes. And then when I, woke up, and I noticed that there was something red on my underwear. And then in the morning, I get a call from like the nurse to check up on me. She said, so, we really wanted to make sure you're all right. And we had to use a scope in you. I said, really? She said, yeah, we had to use a scope, but we just check and make sure you're okay. So I call up the doctor. I said, hey, I got a call from your office, and they said that you use a scope, and I found something, blood, coming out from me, and this stuff. And then she says, oh well, she says something else, like that she tore inside my privates, okay, but the fact that that nurse said that they use a scope. So I'm starting to wonder, did they use a scope and implanted something in me? I don't know. If a nurse who's in the field of gynecology knows the difference between a scope and a speculum. Every woman knows what grown woman knows what a speculum is, but she's a scope. And again, she's a nurse working at a private office. And again, she called me. I didn't call her, you know. So see things like this that make me think that there's something going on. Just like Truman knew in his spirit that there was something going on, and something that caused him to start wanting to venture outside, like myself. And that's what this channel Spirit Journey is all about. It's about questioning mainstream society, questioning about what's really going on in life, and how to get out of the matrix, like the movie The Matrix. Yeah, I more and more I really start to think that there is something that they don't want you to know about. Like they society has you looking at this hand, but it's this hand that's doing the magician work, you know? This one that's doing the deception. But they want you to look at this hand. This hand could represent racism, sexism, uh, greed, murder, you know, all these drama, pollution. But it's this hand they don't want you to look at. Come here. It's my little dog. But it's the other hand that they don't want you to focus on. They don't want me to focus on the pain in my belly. They want me to just think, oh, it's probably just your fibroid. They don't want you to know the real deal. They don't want you to know why, you know, you heard something in your mind. It was real faint. I don't think that way. Why was I thinking that? What happened? That's the real secret. And these secret societies, the secret societies want you to think that you are God, that you could be. Now, I did do a video about saying that I am God, but we all are God in the sense of, at least for me, when I say that, that I feel when you're close to nature and humanity as one, that is the godhood for me. Being a god is not about being an oppressor, about being greedy. No. If you're an oppressor or filled with greed and hatred, you're not of God. But when you're one with nature and one with humanity, that is godhood. At least for me. That's what I classify. So this deception goes further. I forget what I was going to say. I know I mentioned about this hand, that hand. There was something else I wanted to share. Um, oh, what was it now? Come here. Yeah, here's Lily. Yeah. So, oh, brother, I can't remember what I was going to say with this deception. Oh, I remember. Now, this society wants you to be distracted. Realize that, like, you notice now that the media, television is getting more hardcore. It's getting very, yes, hello, viewer. Yes, the media now is getting more hardcore with regard to sex, with regard to now they're using gender. And that's a big thing now. To be a man, but say that you're a woman, or you're a woman and you say that you're a man. And now they're introducing this concept to little children. Now, like where I live, they have this I forget what you call it. What this screen, this giant screen. Now what they show here, they show this in all day. Oh, what's his name? Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith and the daughter that they have, and they show some skit. Now, the girl has some type of identity issues, or what is this? They want to teach black people that that's acceptable to be that way, to be confused about what you are, and using popular black people, mainstream black people in media acting to now be role models to change the way you think about yourself. And I think it's a low blow. Now again, you are who you be what you want to be. But I don't like the trickery of making you become something that you wouldn't ordinarily be. So they want to confuse you. Oh, mommy, I'm looking at this girl, black girl. She doesn't know what she is. So does that mean I don't know who I am? See? And then they want you to do all this weird stuff. Be who you want to be. Okay, it's not about bashing anybody. If you want to have a certain lifestyle, have the lifestyle you want. But always know, whatever what you do, to yourself or others will come back and bite you hard. So be very careful about what you explore because it can hurt you and others. But again, um, it's about social engineering to confuse you so they can control you. But I'm saying control yourself. And again, what about this reality thing? What I wanted to talk about also, like I've been meditating. I don't do it often as I would like to, but um, I realize that there is so much more out there in life. And again, your religion or that's personal. Each person out there, you choose your own spiritual path and embrace what works for you. But what I see now is that about this other world that they don't want you to know about. When I meditated, and again, you have to be careful with meditation, just like in physical life here. Be careful what door you open because some riffraff could come in. Okay, so there's wisdom in everything. So just like there's a spiritual door and a physical door, be careful how you open up those doors and make sure only good comes in, you know? Make sure you know who's at the door. So, you use the necessary protocols in either situation. But either way, like I um, came upon meditation around 4 years ago when I was introduced to a new paradigm shift. And so I wanted to explore outside of my known circle. And you do have experiences. You could sometimes see things. But one of the things I wanted to focus on with this meditation, eh, which leads me to believe that there is a life outside of this one, this dimension or whatever you want to call it. It happens when I wake up from sleep. And I keep my eyes closed after I awaken from sleep and I just relax in my bed. And sometimes I see things. And I notice it's like I'm seeing the same type of thing. And I think what's happening is that the veil of the other reality can open a little bit. Like I saw, I mean, it sounds very bizarre, but it's a phenomenon that seems to only happen at the time when you're asleep, and then you're waking up for the first time in the evening or the morning. When you wake up, it's at that time. Yes, hi Betty. Yes, yes. Oh wow, you haven't been seeing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been having. Yeah, I think that's what's happening at times. That someone that you guys not getting my broadcast. But at one point, I did do the 40-day and 40-night internet fasting. But I've been. Yeah. Oh, this is live. Yes, this is live, Betty. Yes. Yeah, this is live. It's good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you. But yes, what I wanted to talk about, like that, I see that there is a world within a world, and this seems to happen to me only when I'm like waking up in the morning, and you stay real still, don't open your eyes, and then you see something. And what I've been seeing now consistently, when I see the same type of thing, but not all the time. That what it look is, again, it's so faint, but what it kind of looks like is these they look like giant insects, and that there's a big hole or some opening, and it's some big room or some big, you know, big orifice, and I'm looking, and these things are coming at me. It's like, I mean, I'm not physically there, but I'm seeing in my spiritual eye these things, but it could see me and it's coming towards me. It looked like antennas something. It looked weird. It looked to me it looks like giant ants. And and I remember seeing like and I mentioned this before. It looks like these little long skinny things are coming from it. It looks black and dark, shiny, uh, exoskeletal being. But I remember it like these long, skinny things coming from it. And I believe this thing could see me because it's like coming towards me. And I said to myself, I'm just watching it. It cannot get me. I'm just seeing with my spiritual eyes, whatever what this phenomena is. Um, but I believe that whatever what's happening, that there's a brief opening of the veil of this physical life here I'm living and this other place what looks like giant insects or something. Sounds real bizarre, but and the fact that it only happens when I'm waking up for the first time, from my night's sleep. But it doesn't happen like when I do like a regular meditation, like in the daytime when I'm out and about and I'm sitting down to do a formal meditation. You know, it does not. I don't see that. But those other times, I might see like geometric shapes, things like that. But yeah, in the daytime, I don't really do it that a formal meditation. I haven't really been seeing that much. But I do most of my meditation when I'm waking up in the morning. I use that, as my opportunity because that's when I'm really relaxed. But I see it's you have different experiences according to what time of the day. So I don't know whether any of you have experienced this in between worlds when you're just waking up in the morning and you're relaxing in bed and you didn't open your eyes. It seems like when you open your eyes, it breaks that connection. It doesn't allow it to occur. But there's a like a bridge between the two realms, the realms of sleep and this other place. And it's just for a brief second that this happens, that I see this thing. It's just, you know, maybe 20 seconds at the most. It's real brief. But I'm looking at it and I'm seeing these things. So again, I don't know what this is, but it's just telling me, yes, hello viewer, but it's just telling me that life is more than what you perceive. Life is very complicated, and that the people at who control, I believe that there are people who know exactly what's going on with me, exactly about the dream, these meditation things that I've been seeing, or what's going on with my abdomen. And they don't want you to know, just like they didn't want the Truman on the Truman Show. They didn't want him to know that he was in a movie studio about his life. Or the movie that I mentioned again, They Live, that there were people out and about watching everything and that there was a hierarchy. And then you wonder as a black person or a social undesirable why in life you got hit so hard, why uh, failure, why you did poor in school, why you're in the remedial class, why. And as I mentioned, like this other YouTuber, when you're born in a system and they assign something to you. And as this one YouTuber said, you either get assigned a number one or the number zero. So if you're number one, assigned the number one, you get privileges. And if you're assigned the number 0, you're given hardships. So don't beat yourself over the head why you wonder why all these things happen to you in life. And I used to think, oh well, I just have to work harder and harder and harder, study harder, harder. No, no, that's not the case. We are issued things. We are assigned things that can trip us. I don't understand exactly how it works, but really start analyzing. It's not about race. I used to think that everything was about race, but it's not. That's the illusion. And I have to keep telling myself that because sometimes I think it's real. Sometimes I think racism is real. And you get angry and bitter at people when you think that someone's getting over you or not. It's all designed just that way. They know how the human mind works. They know how to make people jealous of each other. They can make siblings hate each other. A parent can hate their child, or a child can hate their parent. They can hate their neighbors could hate each other. Different states, let's say Jersey hates New Yorkers, and New Yorkers hate people from Jersey. Different nations, the U.S. hates another country in Europe or Africa or Latin America, and you think it's real, and you're fighting. I believe those are the instigators who want you to fight each other. Hey, and I'm sure a lot of you now have heard that former President George Walker Bush had passed away on Friday. I didn't really hear, um, I'm interested to find out about, come over here. I'm interested to find out about, um, like, people have mentioned in the past that they were part of a MK Ultra, and they made mention about Father Bush, that he was one of the culprits. And I'm waiting to find out if this, I forget her name, but David Icke had interviewed her, and this lady had wrote a book about her experience, and it's really something that here she goes in such detail of her torture, but there was no prosecution. So it's like these people in government that they get away with murder, get away with rape, rape of children, of women, of boys. It's a sickness. And I think those people who are doing those things are the same people who really control the world system. It's a perversion. It's a perversion that's happening in this society today. These that tapping into, they get, you notice, like the music singers, the musicians, you notice that they're getting younger and younger and younger, and it's more sexuality, more occult stuff. Why do we need to see that? It's a perversion. They want you to think like a pervert. Why do these perverts get over? I really start to wonder. Well, you have people who get off on people's pain. They want you in pain. They want you in a stupor. But I just say, for all of you who are watching, to wake up. I foresee, like with this guy, Father Bush, passing, that I think there's going to be a lot of things happening in society now that he's dead. So you may have people coming out of the closet about what he did, um, or maybe the next phase. Because remember, Father Bush talked about the New World Order speech that he gave in the early 80s. I think it was the 19, no, I'm sorry, it was the early 90s. I'm sorry. about the New World Order. And so he passed away. But maybe now, since he passed, it's now the next stage. See, these people, I perceive that, see, they may not know. I mean, they know that they may not be alive at the time of this new phase, but it doesn't matter that they know it's going to come about. And maybe the thing about what they call clones or things like that, maybe that's true. I mean, again, I don't know. But maybe I mean, if, why tell somebody a prophecy that's going to happen down the road if you know you're not going to be alive at the time? Why even bother? Well, maybe they know they're going to be reincarnated or put into another body, a younger body. Maybe that's why they're concerned about your genetics. Don't you notice now that there's all these commercials about getting your DNA done, know your roots? Don't you notice that? Maybe they want to know certain DNAs because maybe they want to tap into that body, tap into that family. Let's say, hey, a husband and wife. Hey, those people got those genetics. Well, we can use that genetics for this incarnation, whatever, right? And you notice with Dolores Cannon's work, she was a hypnotherapist, and she discovered in her therapy sessions that this what they call reincarnation, and all this other stuff, and she allegedly tapped into uh, Nostradamus spirit, all this stuff. Again, who knows? Is that reality, or is it because her husband did work for the government? So I don't know whether the government is putting these, like when the person's in a hypnosis state, is someone tapping into their body, and in essence, what I'm saying is to speak through the person's body false information. So they talked about this Jesus thing. They talk about Nicodemus thing, and then people who allegedly live this or that life. I don't know. I don't know. But there are technologies that someone can tap into your energy field and talk through it. So I don't know how much is just misinformation and lies, or is it actually really happening? I don't know. I know I had the process done 4 times and nothing happened. I didn't have any past life, anything like that. But some people do have a phenomenon. So, whatever what's going on, not everybody is going to be privy with certain information, and maybe they only let certain people have certain information for misinformation, or just to, they only allow certain people to discuss certain topics. And like what I mentioned earlier, here I was having a private conversation with someone that I knew, and someone was eavesdropping at a restaurant, and zapped me, hurt me medically. So there's no freedom out there. But my whole message here is not to frighten you or anything like that. That's not my goal. My goal is that there's more to life than what you could imagine, and that the way to fight evil, be good to yourself. Make sure you eat good food, healthy food, get the necessary exercise, meditate, and try to think good thoughts for yourself. I know that sounds very shallow, but why I say this is I cannot change. I don't know whether someone was really listening to my conversation that I had a couple of months ago and then get zapped. I don't know. It could have just been a fluke, but again, the likelihood You know, because I discovered that there are technologies, um, these weapons that they could use against the public. The, what do you call it? The microwave energy, and other things, and it could have caused you severe earaches, headaches, GI upset, a whole slew of disorders. But I say, that they can, yes, they can hurt your body, hurt your finances, but continue to love yourself. Love yourself. Do good to yourself, because ultimately you are left with yourself, and you are the most important thing out there. You. So embrace the you. Whether you're white, black, yellow, red, regardless of your nationality, regardless of all those things, regardless of your gender, to love the person you see in the mirror. Hug yourself. Tell yourself good things. It'll start to really work deep within you, because see, these attacks from the enemy is out. It's they're all around. I can't control what they do um, to me, but what I can control is to continue to love myself. And it's like putting a band-aid on yourself to say, regardless what you do to me, I love myself. And that's a medicine for your spirit. See, these things are done to scare you and to make you feel worthless. But you're not worthless. You are valuable. And if you weren't valuable, they won't be bothering you. But you are valuable. And that's why they try to sabotage your life. They don't want you to reach your pinnacle. These are insecure people or beings out there. They are so cowardice, just like in the movie The Wizard of Oz. That Wizard of Oz was a wimpy little elderly man who didn't have a backbone, so he created a machine to make him have a deep voice, made him look like he was a giant, but he was a small little midget type of guy. He had no power. So he created the illusion of grandeur. See, cowards like that, they don't like themselves. If he liked himself, he would have showed himself as he really looked, and he would have helped Dorothy out and said, "Hey, Dorothy, you know that the answer, the power is in you. This is how you get back home." But he was too cowardice to help a little girl out, Dorothy. Yes, we're all Dorothy out there, but I'm saying that the answer is in you. And if you want to wake up from your stupor, you just tell yourself, it's time to wake up. Let's wake up. Let's wake up, humanity. Let's wake up and get our rationality back. Let's treat our spouses with goodness and kindness. Let's treat ourselves with goodness and kindness too. Let's treat our neighbors with kindness. Let's stop being greedy. Some of you YouTubers out there act so greedy. I saw a video, it was about 2 days ago. The live stream was only on for 7 minutes. She had 107 likes. And then she said, "Oh, come on, everybody, give me some likes, give me some likes, And she was acting foolish. Come on. Come on. 7 minutes it was on. And she doesn't think 107 likes in 7 minutes is a lot. Selfish. Let's stop being selfish out there. We all have needs, Yes, if you like this video, yeah, you can give me the thumbs up. If you have a comment, a constructive comment, you can share it below. If you want to share it, yeah, you can share this video with your friends, family members, all these things. We all are teaching each other. We all are learning from each other. I'm learning from you guys, from the things you share to me. This world is more complex than you really, really could imagine. So I'm just saying, take note of it. Start observing what's going on around you when you see. I think some things are just to distract you. Some things you don't really even have to say. Maybe it's just to test you to see whether you overreact. They want you to overreact. They want you to get ugly. They want you to fight. They want you to cause a riot. Don't fall for it. And I say that to myself also. Don't fall for it. Just go within, keep calm, take care of your health, take care of your family, and start observing the things that are going on around you, the things that are going around with your health. Start noticing these different symptoms that's happening to you. What's going on? And start noticing if your doctor starts acting weird, especially if you're a veteran like myself and you go to a veterans hospital. Start looking and start asking yourself, why is your doctor not wanting to explore a certain thing? Why? Start asking why and start waking up. This is a time for things are going to start expanding in awareness. Father Bush just died, and I think the people that he harmed are going to now start opening up, and their program that they were issued, it starts to when someone programs you and when they die, that person might have a breakdown. When you have a breakdown, it's really a breakup. That you're building yourself up. It's removing the old program and you start to come into awareness. So don't be afraid if you think you're having a breakdown. That just means that the veil is opening, and use that opportunity to get to know yourself, to start to hold yourself when this transition is going through, and start documenting everything and start being aware and tell yourself how much you love yourself and expose those bastards out there that are causing you harm. They're out there and they're there to rob, steal, and destroy lives. So with that last bit, I thank you all for watching this video. There's other things I could talk about, but I got the most out the way. But yes, let's learn to love yourself. Learn to love yourself. Learn to love yourself. Be good to yourself. And so when that wind hits you, and when the fires come, you don't feel as devastated. This world system is a fake system that's out there to make you hate each other. Yeah, have a good night. Yes, yes, Jacob. It's good to hear you. Yes, long time no see. Yeah, so I'm going to be signing off. And again, if you like this video, yes, you can give me the thumbs up. You could comment below. You can share this with your friends, family members that you think that might like this, But peace and joy to you all. Let's walk in dignity and with true humanity. Okay, guys? Bye-bye. Me and Lily says bye. Bye-bye.